What's up, guys? Welcome back to Clean for Profit. I am going to tell you right now that you could generate thousands of dollars in future revenue this week without getting a single new lead. I know this because I've started to implement this. It's not even a strategy, man. It's just something that you work into your general workflow without another advertising campaign, not an independent salesperson or even another service add on. The only thing you need to do, TLDR, is you simply need to stop leaving your best customers without their next appointment scheduled. Because the easiest time to sell a client their next service isn't 6 months from now after you've called them, texted them, emailed, and tried to get their attention again. It's right now while you're standing in their home, while the work looks great and their trust in your company is at its highest, and when they're the happiest. If you've done a good job, the happiest time they'll be is right when they see the difference between a dirty window and a clean one within the span of a few minutes or an hour or two. So, in this episode, I'm going to show you how to turn more of today's jobs into months and years of future revenue before you ever even leave the property. I'm talking about this, honestly, this is like kind of a painful one for me to talk about because I have left for sure an unbelievable amount of money on the table by not implementing a strategy to do this earlier. For years, we would do it any other window cleaning business does. We would spend money generating a lead, whether that's through having a website and with SEO best practices that converts, or on a Google ad, an LSA, Facebook ad, whatever it is. We would follow up with them. So if they submitted a form, we would call them until they answered or opted out. We would drive out to give them an estimate. We would earn their trust. We would pitch them pricing, get them onto the schedule, complete the work, and then we would leave without answering essentially the most important question that we could answer, which is, when are we coming back? The customer's happy. We're already sitting face to face. They already trusted us with their home, and they could see the quality of our work right then and there. And there was no additional expense. There's no phone tag, no need to convince them to trust us again. All that I had to do was ask for the next damn appointment. And pretty much all the time I didn't, unless the client specifically brought it up. So here's the thing. When you own a home service business, the first appointment is by far the most expensive and difficult sale you'll have to make to a client. To get that first job, like I said, man, you had to pay for an advertisement, answer a phone call or have them answer a call, send text, follow up several times, drive to the property, get an estimate, sell it, do a good job, etc. That is the most money and time that you're going to spend on a client other than at their house doing the job. And then when you do that without securing the next appointment, all you do basically is you complete the work and then you allow the entire sales process to reset, because 6 months later, somebody has to remember to contact the client. And you call, they might not answer. You leave a voicemail, you send a text, they tell you they need to check their calendar, you follow up again, and maybe they respond and maybe they don't. Or even worse, man, they forget you. They forget who you are because you haven't been following up with them on a regular basis. And let's face it, when people need their windows cleaned, they're looking up window cleaning near me. So if you're not intentionally re-engaging clients, even if you don't have something scheduled with them, you're going to be forgotten eventually. I'm sorry to say it. I mean, I had an estimate that I did last week that we ended up selling. And the guy said, "Yeah, I've had the same window cleaner for 5 years or something like that. And I contacted you because they stopped reaching out." And it's like, this guy knew who his window cleaner was. He has their number, but because they stopped reaching out, he decided to move on, which, like, I don't know, man. Say what you will about like the loyalty of clients. Clients don't owe you any loyalty. It's up to you to nurture the client relationship. It's not up to them to keep it going. So anyways, all this to say, now you're competing to acquire your own customer again. So you're paying twice to acquire the same customer, basically. So I just want to get into like what the point of this even is. And the point is to secure the second sale um, at the time of service. So the second sale is whatever logically comes after the service that you're performing today. It could be the same service in 3 months, the same service in 6 months, an annual appointment, maybe a formal recurring service plan, um, or a complementary a service that's complementary to what you do during another season. So, an example for us, it's August right now, um, and we want to re-engage our clients as much as we can. So we're going to be, first off, the thing that we're going to lead with is window cleaning, because that's most of what we do. And it's also the most pleasant and some of the most profitable work that we do. But the rain's coming in the next few months, which means that there's going to be lots of gutters that need cleaned. So I think there'll be one thing that we lead with and two things that we pitch. The first and easiest one, I think, to sell is the next window cleaning, which is like, when do you want to get back on the calendar? We'll go into that shortly. I have some scripting and stuff that we'll go over in a minute. And then the next is gutter cleaning. I think we're going to be skipping holiday lighting this year. We sort of always have. I think about it every single year, and I just haven't bit the bullet and invested the 15 grand into materials that I would need to comfortably do it and go after it. So we'll see still on that. But all that to say, when we start pushing ads and start pushing gutter cleaning in the winter months, you better believe that every client that we visit to do gutter cleaning for, we're going to get a window cleaning estimate done same time, whether or not they ask for it, and attempt to schedule that. So the goal is to answer one question before you leave, which is, what is the next logical service this customer is going to need, and when should it happen? And that leads to one of four outcomes, basically, and every completed job should lead to one of these four outcomes. Either the next appointment is scheduled, the client's preferred service frequency is recorded so you can follow up, a specific follow-up month is recorded and scheduled, or the client explicitly declines future service, which it happens. I mean, people totally just want their windows cleaned once every now and then. But like, for us, for the longest time, nothing happens after today was the default for the longest time. And we don't want that to be the case anymore. So there's two ways to kind of rebook somebody. The first one that I like the most, that's not going to work for a lot of markets, including the market that we're in, is like a formal service plan. Now, I won't go so far as to say it won't work, but this works really, really well in suburban markets, where a lot of houses are more or less the same. So a service plan works as like, when the service is needed frequently, the work is relatively standardized, pricing is clear, the customer wants consistent maintenance, and you can route your work to make it super efficient. And for window cleaning, that can be monthly exterior cleaning, especially for commercial, obviously, quarterly exterior cleaning. Now we're getting into kind of residential interested territory, 3 exterior cleanings and 1 interior cleaning, or 1 complete cleaning a year, or a fixed monthly payment covering several annual visits. These create like predictable revenue, and they also help customers maintain their homes without having to think about scheduling every appointment, which we're going to get into, but is by far the biggest hook to use, and the biggest benefit for clients when it comes to getting them set up on a recurring or a reoccurring service. Formal plans aren't perfect for every company. So for us, for example, the market that we specialize in, we have a lot of custom homes, and the properties vary a lot in size and accessibility, window count, the amount of work involved. The amount of work involved is really where it becomes tricky, because you can't just say like, okay, on any given day we can do 5 houses, for example. Our days for a crew is like 1 to 2 houses, sometimes 3. If you have a suburban area and you're doing exterior cleans, there's probably some areas where you can do 4 to 6 houses a day and just like crush it. That's not our market. We are higher ticket, and we do more custom work right now. We're looking into suburban markets in our area. There's some that are 30, 40 minutes from us. It might be worth it, but we also know what lane we're in. Um, so the next thing that you can do, which is the easiest, honestly, to get started, is to simply schedule the next appointment before you leave. It's the easiest practical change that basically any home service company can make. And guys, especially if you're just starting, I cannot emphasize enough how much you just need to bake this into your your general process, man. Um, because I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've always, since the beginning, I have always used my satisfaction guarantee script at the end of a sale, which is basically just sounds like this. Just so you know, we guarantee 100% of our work, which means that if you see anything that we missed or have any questions, you can just reach out to us and we'll make sure that you're happy. That's it. That's the script. That's great because it stops people from going to Google if they're unhappy. We've had, I don't know, we have like a 2 or 3% callback rate, something like that. And it works. It helps us make sure that our clients are happy. I wish that I had done something similar for scheduling the next appointment, because frankly, the like clients getting clients rescheduled has been like probably 60% me reaching out to them and 40% them reaching out to me, which is just like way off. We need to make this something that's really straightforward, so that you're padding your months and eventually years in advance. So before you wrap up the current job, you're asking the customer when they would like you back, basically. It's not like high pressure. It's just normalizing the fact that clients have the service performed regularly. You explain the benefit, which we'll go over, and then you give them a simple choice. So like the primary script, kind of a high level, is like, hey, before I wrap up, let's figure out when you'd like us back. Most of our clients usually choose either every 3 months or every 6 months so that their windows never get back to how dirty they just were. Which one of those makes sense for you? Um, if that's not working, if you want to lead with like a 6 month script, is like something like most of our clients have this done every 6 months roughly. If you'd like, I'd be happy to reserve your next visit and we'll just confirm everything beforehand. That puts us in like February. I'll go ahead and get that down. We can go a little earlier or later if you want. I don't know if you prefer to go earlier or later. And then an annual script, which is like, let's reserve just roughly the same time next year. I'll put you something down on the calendar right now, and I'll go ahead and reach out a few weeks in advance just to confirm the exact day. But at least by then, you don't have to think about it next year. You'll already be on the schedule. And then if they're kind of hesitant, you can say something like, it's all good. I'll reserve something for you like 6 months from now, and I'll just confirm it with you beforehand so that you don't have to remember or reach back out to try to find an opening when you decide you need one. Now, some people are just going to say, no, it's all good. And guys, I'm not like a master salesperson. But these scripts work. They've been working for us. It's effective because it doesn't begin with like, hey, do you want to hire me again? Or, it doesn't put them in a place where they have to make a large decision. They just have to choose between like, 3 months or 6 months, or 6 months or 12 months. When do I want to schedule? What it does is it kind of establishes the normal expectation that this is a service that's done regularly, and it helps them choose the timing, basically. So most of our clients provides the social proof every 3 or 6 months, gives them a simple choice. It's not yes or no, it's 3 or 6 months or 6 or 12 months. And then you explain the benefits so that, the windows never get back to this point, or so that you don't have to reach out to us. We can just get it on the calendar so you don't have to think about it. And then, if you say something like, we'll confirm beforehand, we'll reach out, which, our CRM does automatically. It reduces like kind of the perceived commitment. The big thing here, just with these scripts, man, is that it's just casual. You're just casually proposing how to extend the relationship, not asking to extend the relationship. And remember, the benefit for them is you're helping them avoid having to remember, search for a company, request another estimate, and restart the process later. And this works in this industry, man. Most people that own homes and want their windows cleaned in the first place just want somebody that does the job well, is reliable, and doesn't disappear. There are so many customers, clients that we acquire each year that had a guy last year. They had a guy last year, and I don't know where he went. He went to college. He got arrested. He got a DUI. It's like people in this business go and leave all the time, which opens up a massive opportunity for you, especially if you have any kind of system in your business to accommodate for retaining your clients. So this is just kind of a little nerdy thing here, but like once a customer tells me how frequently they want their windows cleaned, I can set that up in my CRM. If they choose every 6 months, I can have those visits continue on the calendar for years, which obviously it doesn't mean that every future appointment is guaranteed. It just means that we've established the customer's preferred maintenance schedule and that the schedule continues until the customer asks us to change it. It's on them to change it. It's not on us to reach out and schedule it. It's already scheduled. They'll get notified before the appointment. And if they want to cancel or reschedule, they can reach out. So you're not depending on the client or the customer remembering you, or depending on you to manually reactivate it. The system just does that for both of us. So when the appointment approaches, it confirms with them. If they need to move it, they reschedule. If they want to change the frequency, we update it. If they no longer want the service, we remove it. But the default now for us is that the relationship continues. So like, cancellations are absolutely going to be a thing. And to be honest with you, with a system like this, especially if you just have something reoccur indefinitely, your cancellation rate's going to be higher. People are going to move. People are going to sell their homes. Some people will want to go from every 6 months to every year. But listen, I am certain that the percentage of repeat clients that I will have as a result of moving to this default will quadruple or more. And my cancellation rate increasing will be negligible comparatively from a revenue standpoint. Like we are leaving way more money on the table by not doing this than the money we'll lose from, a slightly higher or lower retention rate. So this is just kind of a spitball number, but I would estimate that we would probably permanently lose somewhere around 15 to 20% of these customers per year. And there's probably going to be a larger percentage of appointments that get moved or changed, which isn't necessarily a lost customer. But if we can retain 80 to 85% of these customers each year, that's a huge win. And it's the comparison that we're trying to talk about here is like a recurring calendar with some cancellations versus no future appointments because we never asked for it. And I mean, this was a massive win for us the last week. We did a beautiful home in a luxury market near us. The owner of a tech company that sold for over 100 million. And it's a $2,000 window cleaning job. It's like 1948 for window cleaning interior and exterior. Well, the guy walked up to me when we were getting close to wrapping up and he said, "Hey, I hate dirty windows. Can I get on a calendar regularly?" And for me, what I heard is my number one priority is making sure that my windows don't get dirty again. And so my pitch was just like, bro, if you don't want dirty windows ever again, we should come here every other month. And he said, great, that sounds good. Let's schedule it. So now every single year from that one job, we will be bringing in almost $12,000 a year. And, obviously there's There's a chance of churn. There's a chance he sells his house. I'm not pretending that this is going to go on forever, but like there are some clients that will stay in their house and will retain over that amount of time. So like if you can hold on to that client for 10 years and they like you and you don't screw anything up royally, you're going to make 120 grand from this guy over the course of a decade. That is not insignificant. That's what a lot of people make all year in their business. And you make 10% of what a lot of people make every year in their business just on one client. All because you pursued that recurring or reoccurring structure. So, yeah, a cancellation in that case, like I would rather schedule 100 future appointments and lose 20 of them than schedule 0 because I was afraid that somebody might cancel. And the cancellation isn't necessarily revenue that scheduling caused us to lose. The appointment would have never existed if we hadn't scheduled it in the first place. So anyways, it's essentially all upside. So I mean, we can use a simple example. Let's say that our average job is 465, which our average job has climbed by quite a bit over the last few months. It was 465. But if you get 100 customers to schedule service every 6 months, that's 200 appointments a year. It represents $93,000 in scheduled annual revenue. Again, it's not annual, it's not guaranteed, but it's scheduled. And if you lose 20% of that group each year, that group could still produce approximately 415 grand over 10 years, which doesn't include your price increases, additional services, customer referrals, new recurring customers added, and all the other benefits that come with having recurring clients. So, and the biggest thing here, you guys, is the time savings. The financial value is obvious, but the time savings is at least as important. Scheduling the next appointment while you're already with the customer takes less than a minute. Trying to recover that same appointment might later require pulling a customer list, deciding who should be contacted, which this is the biggest one, dude. It's like looking at a list and figuring out who you want to reschedule. It's like, don't leave that up to your emotions. Calling the customer, leaving a voicemail, sending a text, waiting for a response, following up again, discussing the pricing again, finding a date, answering questions about the service, and convincing them to open their calendar and write it down. So 10, 15, 20 minutes across several attempts. Trying to recreate that could have been like done in a minute at the appointment. You multiply that over hundreds of clients and you're winning, bro. You're going to win if you do this. Trust me. The last thing that I want to talk about is just selling the next logical service, which is like you want to see when they want their windows cleaned next. But for us, like I mentioned, like gutter cleaning is a big one for us. And we're going to go gutter cleaning to window cleaning. We want to convert our gutter clients into window clients. So when we clean a new customer's gutters, we'll be at the property, we'll look at the windows, we can get accurate pricing figured out and pitch it and get it scheduled, which is great because they're going to be 3-4 months scheduled out in advance. Same deal. Like we'll get more cancellations than if we scheduled it a couple of weeks in advance. But boo-hoo, dude, I'd rather have 30 grand scheduled 4 months in advance and lose 6 of it than end up doing, 20K in that month instead and have to scramble to get all those leads. So, yeah, we have some scripting that we're writing up for that. There's other cross service opportunities. I mean, you know what they are in your business. Pressure washing followed by window cleaning, house washing, solar panel cleaning. That's a big one for us, is like gutter cleaning and window cleaning. Solar panels, there's a ton of them out here. It's a super logical upsell. And yeah, I think the biggest thing is just building this process into the company. So you want your technicians to be asking this question on a regular basis. Like, is the customer happy with the work? What service will they need next? When should it happen? Can we schedule it now? And if not, when should we follow up? So if I were to say what you should do right now as a result of this, is like, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a complicated membership or brochures or new software or crazy automations. Just ask one question before leaving every satisfied customer. I'll say every not unsatisfied customer. You need to ask this more than you don't ask it, which is most of our clients have us back every 3 to 6 months. Which one makes the most sense for you? And then shut up and let them answer. And do that for a week. Track how many customers schedule. And if you complete 20 jobs and 8 customers schedule their other, let's say on average, $465 appointment, you've placed $3,720 in future revenue onto the calendar from one simple change in your process. And it compounds if they stay with you for many years. So, yeah, guys, I mean, home service businesses spend nearly all of their energy acquiring clients and almost none deciding what should happen after the first job, which is a crazy time sink and black hole that I have fallen into for so long. So don't fall into it like I did. Um, because when you do, you just run more advertisements, you chase more leads, you work on your close rate. We add services, we look for another marketing chat. It's like you can skip all of that crap if you just do the best work that you can for the clients that you have as often as you can for those people that already trust you and want to work with you. So I want you to like do that this week. Don't build a membership program. Don't spend 2 weeks creating brochures and pricing sheets. That's what I tend to want to do. Just start the race and build the car while you're in the race. Okay. Start with that simple script. Most of our clients have us back every 3 to 6 months. Which one makes the most sense for you? Start there because you probably don't need hundreds of new leads to make more money. You probably just need to stop letting the clients that you've already earned disappear. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.